Your phone rings, you glance at the screen, it's your doctor. You answer and you hear the words, "Your sleep study shows you have obstructive sleep apnea." Oh, for a moment, it feels like the air gets heavier. The world slows down just a little, and your mind starts racing. What does this even mean? How serious is it? Am I going to be hooked up to a machine forever? Is this going to change everything? You actually might feel a little relief though, because finally there's an explanation for that exhaustion, that brain fog, the afternoons where coffee just stopped helping. Or maybe it's fear because you now have a medical diagnosis you didn't see coming. Here's what I want you to know, is that you need to take a breath. That's not the end of your health story. It's the moment you start getting your life back. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what's happening in your body every night, why a CPAP is still the gold standard for treating that sleep apnea, and how Parkway can make that starting easier and more comfortable than you ever thought it could possibly be. All right, let's start with what's actually going on in your body. Obstructive sleep apnea. It's when the muscles in your throat relax too much during sleep, causing your airway to collapse. It's like a drinking straw getting pinched and shut down, and your air just can't get through. And when that happens, your oxygen drops fast. Your brain senses danger and slams that alarm. Wake up, breathe. Sometimes it's a big gasp or a snort, and other times it's subtle and you don't even remember it. But either way, your body is jerked out of deep sleep. This can happen dozens or even hundreds of times every single night. And every time it happens, your body's going from rest mode to fight or flight mode in an instant. It's a constant cycle and a huge toll on you, keeping your heart pumping harder, your blood pressure spikes, stress hormones flood your system, and your brain never gets fully to repair and restore. That's why so many people sleep with sleep apnea. They sleep 8 hours and they feel like they never slept at all. You're technically in bed, but you're never truly rested. And it's not just about feeling tired. Untreated sleep apnea strains your heart, increases your risk of stroke, worsens blood sugar, triggers your mood swings and irritability, and messes with your memory. And it even makes you more likely to get in a car accident. The bottom line, this isn't just about snoring. It's your body crying out for air over and over and over again every single night. All right, now that you know you have sleep apnea, let's talk about why CPAP is the gold standard. First off, what is CPAP? It's continuous positive airway pressure. And while that might sound a little technical, the idea is actually pretty simple and pretty brilliant. Picture your airway like a soft garden hose. At night, when the muscles relax, that hose kinks or collapses, and it stops air from flowing. CPAP gently sends a steady stream of air through a mask, acting like an invisible splint. It holds that airway open all night, every night. That means no more collapses, no more sudden oxygen drops, no more constant emergency wake-ups where your brain has to trigger just to keep breathing. The moment you start using CPAP, those dangerous pauses, they stop. The oxygen stays steady. Your heart rate stops surging at night. And for the first time in a long time, your brain is able to sink into a deep restorative sleep and stay there. And that's when your body repairs tissue balances, hormones, consolidates memories, and resets your mood. Now, there are other treatments. There's dental devices that actually move your jaw forward. There's positional therapy that keeps you sleeping on your side. And there's even surgeries that can help remove tissue or alter your airway. And some people, especially with mild apnea, those things can work. But here's the reality. For moderate to severe sleep apnea, nothing else comes close to consistency and effectiveness of a CPAP. In clinical studies and in our experience with thousands of patients all across North Carolina, CPAP reduces or eliminates sleep apnea episodes better, faster, and more reliably than any other option. And that's why doctors and sleep specialists and medical guidelines all agree that CPAP is still the gold standard. It's not just the most effective treatment, it's the one we know saves lives, protects hearts and brains, and restores your energy in a matter of days or weeks. And with today's technology, there's smaller machines, quieter motors, and lighter masks. It's also more comfortable and easier to stick with than ever before. I understand there's probably some anxiety when it comes to CPAP, so I'm going to share some real world stories with you that we see all the time. And let's start with Mike. Now, Mike's 52. He runs his own business and he came in to see us looking like he was carrying a 100-pound weight on his back. He told us, "I just thought I was getting older." But his wife, she had been telling him for years that his snoring, it wasn't just loud, it was scary. She'd lie awake counting the seconds between his breaths, just waiting for him to gasp. Mike's sleep study, well, it showed severe sleep apnea. 72 breathing pauses an hour. That's more than once every minute. We set him up on CPAP. 2 nights later, he called us, and I'll never forget the excitement in his voice. "I didn't know I could sleep this well. I didn't even know that I could feel like this when I was awake. It wasn't just about having more energy. Within weeks, his blood pressure improved, his focus at work came back, and he stopped nodding off at red lights. And for the first time in years, he started walking in the morning again, feeling good. Then there's Lisa. She's 38, a busy mom of 2 little ones, and she thought her exhaustion was just part of motherhood. The dark circles, the brain fog, the short fuse, she chalked it all up to life just being busy. But her sleep study told another story. She had moderate apnea, enough to keep her from getting deep restorative sleep after night. We got her started on a CPAP. In about a month, she came back to follow up and said something that stuck with me. I didn't realize how much patience I had lost until I got it back. She told me she could help her kids with homework without snapping. She stopped needing at 3 p.m. coffee just to get through the day. And she said she finally felt like herself again, not just a tired version of herself. And then there's David. David honestly didn't even think his sleep was that bad. He came in for his first sleep study and it showed apnea, so he was referred for a titration study. That's where we bring you into our lab, fit you with a CPAP, and adjust the settings to find out what works best for you. That first night, we fitted him with a nasal pillow mask. He admitted he was skeptical, and he wasn't sure he'd sleep at all with something on his face. But once the CPAP started and his airway stayed open, he settled in, and he didn't wake up until morning. When we checked in with him afterward, he just stared at me for a second and said, "That was the best sleep I've ever had in my entire life." He told me he'd never realized what normal sleep was and how it was supposed to feel. He was waking up clear-headed without that heavy, groggy feeling, and the next day, he didn't crash mid-afternoon for the first time in years. Stories like Mike's, Lisa's, and David's, they're not rare. They're everyday proof that when you finally give your body the oxygen and deep sleep it's been missing, the change isn't subtle, it's life-changing. All right, let's bust some of the biggest CPAP myths I hear all the time. Myth number 1, it's uncomfortable. Truth, CPAP masks today, they're not those giant full-face scuba gear setups from the 90s. They're smaller, lighter, and designed to fit you like they're barely there. We size it to fit your face type, your sleeping style, and even how much you toss and turn. If you like to sleep on your side, we've got a mask for that. If you want the tiniest mask possible, we've got nasal pillows that can barely touch your face. All right, let's go to myth number 2. It's noisy. And the truth is, modern CPAP machines are whisper quiet. We're talking quieter than a ceiling fan, your fridge, or that mystery hum you hear across your house. The only way you'll sound like Darth Vader is if you want to, and even then, it's more likely a friendly, yoga-breathing Darth Vader than the Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader. Myth 3, it's a pain to clean. But the truth, it's a 5 to 10 minute job. Honestly, it takes less than a time of brewing coffee, and way less time than scrolling on your phone in the morning. Plus, clean gear lasts longer and feels fresher, so it's worth that tiny effort. All right, now to myth number 4. It's not romantic. The truth, let's be real. Snoring like a freight train and gasping for air every 30 seconds is way less romantic than quietly breathing next to someone who's actually getting healthy sleep. And hey, if your partner likes Star Wars, you can lean into it. Nothing says I love you like breathing life back into your relationship and doing a spot-on Darth Vader impression at the same time. So here's my invitation. Let this be your moment you stop just getting by and start truly living again. And if you have questions or you've already started CPAP and you have a success story of your own, drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And your story might just be encouragement to someone else who's having some anxiety. And remember that moment when your doctor called and said, you have sleep apnea? Now picture a new moment. You're waking up, you're clear-headed, you're full of energy, you're taking deep breaths, easy breaths, and realizing this is what healthy restorative sleep feels like. That's where we want to take you. I'm Brandon from Parkway Sleep, and we'd be honored to help you take your next step toward real rest and better days ahead. We'll see you on the next one.